What is up, YouTube? Welcome to episode 1 of my Dissecting series. And this is a brand new series that I started where we're going to be dissecting a particular NBA player. And today we're going to be dissecting Brandon Ingram. As you can see from the title and the thumbnail and this image right here, we're going to be dissecting him, looking at his abilities, his pros, his cons, his player profile, and everything. Enough of the chit chat, let's get started. And don't forget to drop a like, it's really important. And subscribe if you're new. And let's get started. Kevin Durant acknowledging Brandon Ingram. I could see why he sees a similarity between him and Ingram, but in my opinion, only similarities I see is the length and size and weight. Everything else about their games are pretty different. Now, in the background, you can see the player profile, and as you can see the name, Brandon Ingram, and when he was born September 2nd, and he's 19 years old. That age is very important in my opinion. He's a very young player, so every stat that you see about him, you have to take it with a grain of salt. Now his size, you can see here, he is 6 feet 9 inches. He is taller than the average small forward. Look in the bottom, you see the 6'7" height. And his weight, he's extremely undersized. That's why he's in red. He is 190 pounds, very undersized by the average small forward, meaning he could get pushed around inside the paint. Now his wingspan is 7'3". Now that is crazy. As you can see, the wingspan right here is 6'11" for the average small forward. So easily, he can be a top tier defender in this league just by his wingspan and size alone. Now the team that he's on is a very important team for him. It's the Los Angeles Lakers. This team is currently a losing team. If he was somewhere like on a Boston Celtics where they're winning now, it will be hard for him to develop as a player. And as you can see, he desperately needs development. So this is why he is not on those good winning teams. In the background, I got Brandon Ingram's shot chart this season. I understand he's shooting an awful 36% from the field, but he's still only 19 years old, so let's take that with a grain of salt. But his shots are all around the floor, and that's good to see. He's able to score from almost anywhere on the floor. It's not like he's scoring heavily on one side of the floor. Good to see that he's attacking the basket as well. Lots of shot attempts inside, even though he's underweight. And I noticed a little density for those corner threes, which I believe is the best shot in the game. After watching a couple of his games, I jotted down a couple of pros to his game. First pro to his game is his overwhelming size he has. As we saw from the player profile, Ingram has the height and size advantage over other players in this position, which will make him a problem on both sides of the floor. Defense is another great thing about him. I honestly think he's a great defender already. He has a massive size and length, which will allow him to bother any offensive player. And he already displayed tons of golden defensive habits. He's actually a pretty good shot creator as well. He loves that triple threat move in the high post. I feel it will be his go-to thing for him, and he's got some pretty good ball handling skills for someone at his height. He can easily pop shots over defenders. He also has a very quick release off the dribble. He is also a very unselfish guy. He's looking like a guy who is willing to make plays, not just for plays for him, but plays for his teammates to score. And that makes him a team player, and there's nothing better than a team player in my opinion. Last but definitely not least, his rebounding ability. He has the size and length to easily get rebounds, and I doubt he's going to allow much offensive rebounds for his opponents, so he's going to be a great rebounder already, hands down. Yes, there's pros and there's cons. First thing all basketball fans see is that he's very, 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 very skinny, way too skinny. If he doesn't add some pounds to those bones, he's going to get shredded on defense and will also get bumped easily. And it will be much harder for him to play physical basketball. Trust me, I'm a skinny guy and it's hard to score on the bigger guys, even if you're taller than them. Also, he could easily be injured. He needs to gain weight. He's about the average weight of a point guard. If he doesn't gain weight, I would be very concerned about his future. Surprisingly enough, he's not a great free throw shooter. That's pretty bad to hear. I was shocked to see he doesn't have the green lights at the charity stripes. He better work on that. He honestly should be at least an 80% free throw shooter. Hopefully he doesn't get plagued with that bad free throw shooting sickness. Another thing, he's a laid back guy. I don't like laid back basketball players. They're like the silent type. Of course, Kawhi Leonard is a great example of a great silent player, but I really think he should be more of a leader for this team in particular. The Lakers need a mature leader that is trustworthy. Russell, D'Angelo Russell has already lost that trust, and I believe he's too immature to lead anyways. Ingram should be the leader of the Lakers, so start being vocal, Brandon Ingram. Hopefully you see this video, and be sure to drop a like if you get a chance to, Brandon Ingram. Finally, speed. He's not really that fast. He's a bit on the slow side. I feel he could be as fast as Giannis. If he was quick and fast, his weight would not be a huge deal because swiftness will allow him to avoid contact more often. Now for the final wrap up. This part of the video, I would just go through my final thoughts and decisions and my opinions on Brandon Ingram. So far, I see Brandon Ingram as a pretty good scorer. I think he can easily be at least a 20 points per game scorer. And I feel like he can also average like six assists per game because he looks like he has a great court vision and he looks like he's a team player. He can probably be point forward, probably. I really think he's going to be that type of guy. Of course, his rebounding as well is great. I think he could be a really good leader. I could see him playing that like sort of LeBron-ish kind of role. I'm not going to call him LeBron because he's not physical like LeBron. I see that he's similar to someone like Giannis Antetokounmpo, or how do you say his name? But you know, I know I'm gonna sound crazy, but I think he's more of the shooting version of Giannis and the less athletic. Like he's not as fast. Like Giannis, you already know this guy. When he's running down the court, he is down the court like in seconds. But I see a lot of similarities between them, both of them. Their defense is kind of similar. Of course, Giannis is a much better defender, but you know they both have long arm. They can both get into the passing lanes. They both have court vision. They seem to be very unselfish, and they both are decent scorers. Of course, Ingram is more of a triple threat kind of scorer. I feel like that's gonna be his go-to thing when he's playing. He could be on a high post, triple threat, either getting to his teammate, driving into the basket for an easy layup, or probably pulling up a mid-range shot. That's how his offense could be built around, and of course, a transition, he's really great. He can run the floor, he can run the offense as well, like sort of like LeBron. So I see that around him. However, there's always a catch, and I think he can end up being, if everything doesn't go well, I think he's gonna end up being like Wesley Johnson. You guys remember Wesley Johnson? Yes, he's on my team right now. He's on the Los Angeles Clippers, and there's a huge problem with him. He had the athleticism, he had the physical tools, he just looked like he was great. He had a lot of potential. Unfortunately, he didn't work as hard. So that's the big thing that's going to be concerning about Brandon Ingram, is if he's going to work hard to achieve, like to get the highest level and become as great as he could possibly can. So that's what I got to say about Brandon Ingram. And that's just about it for the final wrap up. And peace out, guys. Hope you guys enjoy. Be sure to subscribe, and peace out.